Okay, so we'll try to develop a table of specification using our course or the topics on our course in assessment in learning 1. Okay, we have principles of assessing learning, learning targets and classification of assessment as our content, and we have here supposed to be our time spent in discussing the content. Okay, so we decided to have, for example, a fourth type of assessment format, namely multiple choice, true or false identification, and the extended essay. So it's on your choice to on choosing what type of format you are going to use in the test you will be conducting. Okay, so for example, we have 2.5 hours for principles of assessing learning, so on and so forth. So for this example, we are expressing the time in hour rather than in minutes. Okay, so let us have first the total number of hours or time spent in discussing the whole topics in first module. This is just an example. So we have 2.5 plus 2 plus 3 is equal to, we have 7.5. So we spent 7.5 hours in discussing the topics for the module 1. Okay, so to determine the number of items for each content, we have first to find we are going to find first rather the number or our desired number of items. So let's say we wanted to have a 20 item test. 20. Okay, and we have here the time or percent of time for each content. So that is, we have time spent. Okay, we have time spent over total number of hours. So we have, for principles of assessment is 2.5 divided by 7.5 is equal to 33.333 and so on. So we'll just uh, round this down. Okay, so we have 33%. Okay, then for the test, the learning targets rather, we have 2 divided by 7.5 is equal to 0.266 times 100, that is 26.66. So we'll just round this up. So we have 27%. And we have, lastly, we have 3 divided by 7.5 for our last topic. So that is 0.4 times 100, that is 40%. Okay, so that is the weight for each topic. So now let us determine the number of items given this percent or weight. So since we wanted to have a 20 item test, so that is multiply the number or desired number by the percent of each content. So we have 33%, so in decimal that is 0.33. Okay, 0.33 times 20, that is equal to 6.6. So let's round this up. So this is 6.7. Sorry, 7. And we have for two second topic, we have 0.27 times 20, that is 5.4. So we'll have round this down. We have 5. Then we have for 40 third topic, we have 0.40 times 20. equal to 8. So we have 8 items for the third topic. Okay, now let us choose if, okay, so let us first make sure that we have a 20 total number of items. So 7 plus 5 plus 8 is 20. Now it is our choice to, uh, with regards to the placement of items. So let us say for remembering, we wanted to have a 5 items for remembering, 5 items also for understanding. Application is 4 items, 4 items for analysis. Evaluation is 1 item and 1 item for creating. Okay, so now here comes the uh, number and placement of items. So we have here level of cognitive behavior, so we neglect the knowledge dimension. Okay, so for remembering, we wanted to have for principles of assessing learning, we have here. So we must have a total 7 items for principle of assessing learning. So we will distribute these 7 items to the different level of cognitive behavior. Okay, let's say here test 1, 2 item. Okay, test 2 also 2 items rather. And we have here test 3 is also 2 items, and for creating we have test 4, we have 1 item. So if we're going to add 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 1 is equal to 7. Okay, and the numbering is, since we have here test 1, so that is number 1 to 2. Okay, then same as for test 2, it is 2 items, that is numbers 1 to 2. And for applying, we have numbers 1 to 2. Okay, and for creating, that is number 1. So in uh, summary, that means we have for numbers 1 and 2 for test 1, your question must be all about the principles of assessing learning. Okay, so on and so forth. Okay, so we have here, to continue, we have the learning targets as our content, and we have to distribute 5 items in every level of cognitive behavior. Okay, for test 1, we have 1 item, which is all about learning targets. Also for test 2 and test 3, as well as for analysis test 3. Okay, we have test 1, number 1 or 1 item. So since we have here 1 to 2 already, so we have here number 3 as our placement of the item. And for understanding, we have here test 2, which is 1 item, which is all about again learning targets. So we have number 3, so on and so forth. We have here 3, and for analysis we have here number 4. Okay, now let us have for the third topic, which is all about the classification of assessment. So we need to have 8 items for this topic. So we distributed items accordingly. So we have test 1 2 items, test 2 2 items, which is understanding, test 3 is 1 item, and another test 3, which is 3 items for analysis, and 1 item for evaluating. So just continue the numbering. So since we have a test 1, we ended at 3, number 3, so continue with number 4 to 5. And we have here understanding, so 4 to 5. And we have here applying, so we have 3, but since we have here number 4 for analyzing, so we have here number 5 again for applying, which is all about classification of assessment. Then so on and so forth. Then we have here a let us have the point number of points for each uh, level. So let us say we have 1 point for remembering, 1 point for understanding, 2 points for applying and also for analyzing, and 5 points for evaluating and creating. Okay, now let us check if we have the proper placement of assessment. Okay, It should be that for remembering we have a total of 5 items. So we have one item, 2 items for principle of assessing learning, 1 item for learning targets, plus 2 items for classification of assessment, which is equal to 5. The same as for understanding, we have 2 plus 1 and plus 2 is also 5. And for applying, we have here 2 plus 1 plus 1, which is equal to 4. So in other words, the number of items must be equal in this row and in this column. Okay, that is for us to know if our table of specification is balanced or not. So uh, as a teacher, you will know now what question should you or should we include for item number 1 and 2 for test 1. So since we have here uh, in principles of assessing learning, that means our question should be all about principles of assessing learning for questions number 1 to 2 for test 1. Okay, for another example, if we have here for test for number 2, your question must be about classification of assessment. So that is one of the benefits of using the table of specification.